Okay, so this was a disastrous weekend for Pokémon GO. Niantic accidentally released Black Kyurem and White Kyurem in Go Battle League rewards, and initially a lot of players were really excited about this, but Niantic stated that this was not intended, and they backtracked on it, and you could no longer obtain these two powerful legendary Pokemon. This caused a lot of disappointment within the Pokemon GO community, and on top of that, Niantic introduced a brand new bug that completely removed all of your preset battle parties. Yeah, this was a disastrous weekend, and we do need to talk about it. So that's what this video is going to be about. Let's get right into it. Okay, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon GO video. So I'm taking a break from the December Community Day activities to record this video because I do think the topic that I'm going to be talking about is extremely important. So something really big happened over the last couple of days. Niantic accidentally released two Pokemon that a lot of players were looking forward to, specifically White Kyurem and Black Kyurem. Both of these Pokemon are set to be some of the most powerful Pokemon in Pokemon GO, and the way that they are going to be released is going to be crucial because there's a lot of hype surrounding it. But of course, Niantic being Niantic, they accidentally released these Pokemon prematurely, and they were obtainable within Go Battle League rewards for a very brief period of time. For any player who was lucky enough to get either of these Pokemon before they were removed from the game, they now have some of the rarest Pokemon that you can get because both Black Kyurem and White Kyurem with a 2023 tag is going to be incredibly rare because it was not an intended release. But that's besides the point. I think one big point of frustration within the Pokemon GO community is that this was something that a lot of players got excited about, but Niantic did not care, and they removed these Pokemon from the Go Battle League rewards. I really feel like they should have kept them in, and they should have owned up to their mistake, but instead of doing that, they removed it and tried to brush it under the rug, and that did not go over well with the Pokemon GO community. Obviously, they shouldn't have made this mistake in the first place. If they had no intentions of releasing Black Kyurem and White Kyurem right now in Pokemon GO, then they should have made sure something like this did not happen. Because now a lot of players are feeling really sour about Pokemon GO, especially for those who really wanted either of these Pokemon. And now they're going to say that it's completely unfair that they were not able to obtain it during the small period it was actually released. There's going to be players out there who will defend Niantic and say that, well, it's not their fault that players are frustrated. Yes, it's completely their fault. This was their mistake. Like, this glitch should not have happened. Like, they have some of the worst quality control when it comes to mobile games. Because of this one mistake, they created a plethora of different issues. On top of releasing these Pokemon prematurely, they also completely wiped every single player's preset battle parties for both raid battles and PvP. So if you had a bunch of different teams for the Go Battle League and for raids, well, you're gonna have to remake them because they're completely gone from every single one of your accounts. Like, my god, this is such a big disaster. I think a lot of players out there were reporting that they had a bunch of unintended losses within the Go Battle League because they found that their battle party was completely wiped in between matches, and they were just not thinking about it when they started the next match. And I think that's a major problem because Niantic has had a very bad track record of having bugs and glitches with Pokemon GO, and this is just another notch in that timeline. And I really think Niantic needs to focus in on being better at developing Pokemon GO. I recognize that that's a very broad and generalized statement, but I think it's true. Like, Niantic has been dropping the ball constantly left and right when it comes to how polished Pokemon GO is. They've been putting so many resources and focus on a bunch of different mechanics that players have not been asking for. Mateo, party play, routes, like, all this stuff has a lot of potential, but it's stuff that no one really cares for right now. What people actually care about is having a game that runs properly. Like, when it comes to the Go Battle League, when it comes to raid battles, and when it comes to every aspect of Pokemon GO, there's a lot of nagging bugs and glitches that have been in the game for the last several years, and they've gone completely unfixed. And rather than releasing a bunch of useless features like Mateo and routes and party play, what they really should be doing is focusing all of their resources on polishing up what's already there. Seriously, it's frustrating enough that something like this happens where they prematurely release very powerful Pokemon, and only a very small fraction of players who were lucky enough to do Go Battle League battles at the time that they were released to be able to have these Pokemon. Like, this is something that really is a nightmare scenario for Niantic. Like, they're ending the year 2023 on such a wrong foot, and it's going to just demotivate players from playing Pokemon Go in 2024. Everyone that I talk to who plays Pokemon Go, a lot of them are just ready to quit. And I think a bunch of players have already quit Pokemon Go. And I totally recognize that this is not everyone. There's going to be a lot of players out there who are very satisfied with Pokemon Go in its current state. But let's be real here, this is not something that should be ignored. Like, if there's going to be continuous glitches and bugs like this, and if Pokemon Go is going to continue on being completely unpolished like it is right now, it's not going to last long. Like, this game is going to die out really quickly. And this is a shared sentiment among pretty much every single major Pokemon Go content creator. I'm actually in communication with a couple of Pokemon YouTubers and content creators that some of you may actually be aware of. And it seems like that is the sentiment, that is the opinion, that Pokemon Go is on its way out. Like recently, Mystic7 put out a really revealing tweet talking about how all of his content is starting to tank in viewership, and it's really because of Pokemon Go. I really think Mystic7 has stepped up his game when it comes to content creation, and because those videos are not getting a lot of views, that really tells me that interest in Pokemon Go is starting to wane, and I think that's very much because of some of the design decisions that Niantic has made over this past year. It really all started with the nerf to remote raids, and I really feel like a lot of things that Niantic has been doing is just the completely wrong direction for what Pokemon Go players want for Pokemon Go. Yeah, I totally recognize that there's going to be players out there who completely disagree with me. They totally like anything that Niantic does, because some people have the delusion that being a corporate shill is going to be what's healthy for a game. I just cannot understand why Niantic is listening to those players. There's a lot of very apparent problems with the game, and I really feel like if you're just going to blindly support Niantic in spite of all of these issues, you're not doing anything good for Pokemon Go. You might think you're supporting Niantic and Pokemon Go, but you're ultimately contributing to the game's downfall, because what you're doing is you're enabling Niantic to ignore a lot of these issues and think that the game is in a good state, when they're dropping in revenue, they're dropping in their player base, and they need to do something about it. They need to stop making these different mechanics that nobody is asking for, and what they really need to focus in on is fixing the game. That's really all we're asking for. And yeah, going back to Black Kyurem and White Kyurem, I do think it's very disappointing. I feel disappointed for players who really want these Pokemon, and I am also very disappointed for Niantic because I'm pretty sure this was something that they really did not want to happen. They need to make up a lot of ground for a lot of the damage that they caused to their own reputation with the Pokemon Go community. Like, Pokemon Go is one of those games that I feel like a lot of players have been very unhappy about for the longest time. Believe me, I really want this game to succeed. I want to be as constructive with my criticism as I possibly can. I'm trying to tell Niantic what the solution is here, but it's really going to be up to them to actually step up to the plate and do the things that players want them to do. Fix the darn game. That's ultimately what needs to happen in 2024. We don't need a bunch of new features that nobody is asking for. We need the game polished. We need the game fixed. They need to make sure that these sort of glitches and bugs do not go through. And I really feel like with Niantic, they are the last line of defense when it comes to the quality of this game, and they need to make sure they're making a quality product, because as of right now, I feel like there's just so many problems, and this game is starting to fall apart, and if Niantic doesn't do anything soon, this game is definitely going to die within the next couple of years. But yeah, in any case, these are just my thoughts and opinions regarding everything that happened this weekend, but I would love to know what you are thinking down below. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with Pokemon Go that's not going to be positive, but I know there's going to be some players out there who think the game is in a good place. I would love to know why you think that, and yeah, let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you ended up enjoying it and found it to be insightful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Now I want to give a quick shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way within Pokemon Go, like with remote raids or the friendship system, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. Also, if you want to support my channel in a non-monetary way without spending any money, you can do so by following me on social media. My handle is Jinsula, and I'm on these following platforms. Alright, and that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch y'all later.